and there's a group of about, I don't know, 300 or 400 people outside the hall. Now, I'm from Massachusetts, and you must have a border security problem to let me in. But I appreciate the chance to be with you. I have great friends here. And then, of course, there was his signature achievement, Obamacare. Do you think that encouraged businesses to put more people on the payroll? Absolutely not. And then, of course, we go on with things like Dodd-Frank. This was, as you know, re-regulating the financial services sector. Has that made it easier for small banks to make loans to entrepreneurs and innovators? Absolutely not. And then the president's policies on labor. All right, he put in place some labor stooges on the National Labor Relations Board. And some of their important decisions were like the one to tell Boeing you can't build a factory in South Carolina because it's a right-to-work state. These kinds of decisions made it harder, less likely for small businesses to start, for existing businesses to grow. Surprised at his creativity in finding new people to blame. He was speaking about his failure to get certain things done. He said, well, you know, the founders made the process very slow. So obviously, George Washington and John Adams, these boys, they were problems, I guess. And then he talks about the high cost of gasoline. There's an ad out there which has talks about the gasoline prices, and of course he's got to find someone to blame for that. That was the new one. It was me in this case. And right now, the new source of division is to say, let's find the very most successful in our country and say they're bad guys. Go after them. And let's divide America. Look, this nation is one nation under God. Dividing America is not the way to go. There's something the president said. Oh, boy. So the American people are going to have a choice. We're going to have freedom on the ballot and opportunity. And they're going to decide whether we want to preserve those things or not. This president takes us in a very strange direction, in my view, not one that we would recognize. We need to restore the principles that made us who we are, provide for a powerful and growing middle class, help women get back to work, make sure that we're able to start new businesses again. We can remain the economic leader of the world with great innovation and technology. This is the future that we can have. And I can tell you, as I go across the country, I'm optimistic that's our path. The American people don't want to take a different path. We want to come back to that one. Running against would surely be among those I'd consider. The criteria, I think, has to be first and foremost, is this a person who could be president of the United States if that were needed? And do people recognize that and see that as a person who has that kind of qualification? And so I've said this before, if any of the people I ran against happened to become the nominee, I would have endorsed them and supported them for president. So, of course, they'd be on that list. But and he among others. If any of you have any other ideas, just pass them along here.